Greetings and welcome. Welcome back to the Sweet Spot, my good friends. Today is Making Moves Monday on the Sweet Spot. I'm Dr. Derek Sweet, I'm your host. And this week on the Sweet Spot on Making Moves Monday, we're going to be spending some time looking at ancient wisdom for some answers. I don't know about you, but it's pretty overwhelming out here. There's a lot going on. It's almost paralyzing, the stuff that's coming at us left and right. And so rather than just be overwhelmed, I figured let's look in the past. Let's look at lessons from ancient wisdom to help us figure out what to do now. And guess where the Spirit led me? It led me to Psalm 23. Wow. You would think, as a board-certified psychiatrist who spends his time working with high-profile athletes and high-powered executives, that I might have something psychological to tell you. Not this week. Not with everything going on. This week, I'm looking at ancient wisdom, and we're going to spend time in Psalm 23 and see what it has for us. Because in my view, ancient wisdom is often underrated. It has so many powerful insights that we can apply today. And if only we would do so, I believe we would have answers and some freedoms that are not available just by looking at pure science all the time. So Psalm 23, when I looked at it and I studied it, and it's a short psalm, it's a famous one. It's one of the greatest. Think of it as a divine text message. That's what I'm looking at it as. I'm thinking of David, King David, a shepherd boy back in the day, helping us by sending us a text message, a divine text message to help us cope, perform, and thrive in the middle of stress. And I don't know about you, but on some Making Moves Mondays, some days, some Mondays, it feels like making the right move is so difficult. Taking the right steps, so hard. Much harder than it should be. Sometimes we hesitate. Sometimes we're second guessing. Sometimes we're just doubting. We're moving in circles instead of moving forward. And then there are days when we try to just force things to happen. Pushing so hard that we lose our way. We lose our natural rhythm. But what if we weren't meant to move that way? What if the pressure to figure it all out, to control every step, and to force every outcome, what if that pressure is actually the thing that's slowing us down? Wow. David, the writer of Psalm 23, understood something we often forget. He knew what it was like to be under pressure. He knew what it was like to face stress and uncertainty and difficulties. He knew what it was to have things go against you, to have enemies and have obstacles standing in his way. And yet, in the midst of all that, he wrote these words. He leads me beside still waters. Not that I wander alone to figure it out. Not that I've got to figure everything out myself. No. He writes, he leads me. Now, whether you see that as leadership, as divine guidance, as intuition, or maybe just the momentum of life pushing you forward, the key is this from the ancient words. You are not moving alone today on Making Moves Monday. And here's what's even more powerful. David says, he leads me beside still waters. Think about that. Not into chaos, not leading me into confusion, not into exhaustion, not into more stress, but towards stillness, besides the still waters, to a place of clarity, a place where things settle, and you can see a path forming ahead. But here's the problem. Most of us, myself included, we don't always move like that. We either hesitate or we hold back, or we're pushing so hard we're not paying attention to anything in front of us. We're just moving and we create our own storm instead of letting things unfold. And the science, and you know we love neuroscience here on the Sweet Spot, the science, it actually backs this up. You know that the research shows because we've talked about it here, that when we don't trust our direction, when we're constantly second guessing ourselves, our brains go into a state of stress and hesitation, and our nervous system stays on high alert. And what happens then? You know, the prefrontal cortex. Goodness, you've heard this a million times from me. The brain's CEO, the part of the brain responsible for decision making, shuts down when we're under so much stress. We get stuck in analysis paralysis. We start spinning our wheels, and then we lose trust, and then we take silly or crazy actions, or we don't even act at all. We don't even know what move to make on Making Moves Monday. But here's the thing. When we come from a place of slowing down, of trusting, when we move with confidence instead of doubt, when we reflect on these words, He leads me beside the still waters, our brains can shift into a different state, a spiritual state. You know what we call this in sports? A flow state. The kind of state where movement becomes effortless, where decisions just become clearer, where your performance rises naturally. Athletes call this being in the zone because it gets you into this place where you can sort of almost do no wrong. Leaders, some people call it instinct. Psalm 23 calls it being led to the still waters. And that's the message today. And so here's my question for you. Where in your life are you hesitating? Where are you gripping on too tightly to control the outcome instead of trusting the momentum, trusting the moment, trusting what's already there? Maybe you've been waiting to make a big decision, but fear or anxiety has kept you from moving. Maybe you're trying to force something, pushing so hard that you're actually creating resistances instead of creating progress. What if instead of forcing or hesitating, you simply took a breath, trusted the movement that's already happening in your life, go with the flow, and allow yourself to be led? But here's the truth. You've got to be willing to be led. He can lead you. The Spirit can lead you to the still waters. But you have to be willing. That means the path you're on is not meant to drain you. It's not meant to break you. It's meant to guide you to clarity, towards wisdom, towards peace. Once you take on this kind of mindset. So today I challenge you. Take the next step. Move with confidence. Trust that you're being led. Let's lock this in with an affirmation. If you can say this with me or just let it settle in your heart and mind. I trust the process of my life. I move forward with clarity and confidence, knowing I'm being guided. I trust the process of my life. I move forward with clarity and confidence, knowing I'm being guided. You see, my friend, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to move. And when you do, trust that you're being led exactly where you need to go. That's it now for Making Moves Monday. Keep moving forward, beautiful souls. I'll see you tomorrow for Take Action Tuesday. Until then, don't be afraid to be led to the still waters. I'm Dr. Derek Sweet. Thank you so much for listening to Making Moves Monday here on The Sweet Spot. Look for me on YouTube and on Instagram and on X and on Threads. I'm also on LinkedIn. Take care.